Gamers and gentlefolk, hello, and welcome back to another broadcast of the Nexus Gaming Series. I'm going to be your host, The Sound, and this evening we are bringing you a Division A matchup. This is going to be a best-of-3 series between Enemy on Scren and Brickhouse, and this is a important game for the playoffs. Enemy on Scren and Brickhouse both in a position where if they win, they are in, vying for that 8th spot in the standings. So it's the last match, I believe, with such heavy playoff implications. So it's a pretty exciting one. Thanks to everyone for tuning in and showing up to root these teams on. Looks like they are just getting set in the lobby here shortly. So in the meantime, let's take a look at the division standings to show everyone what we're talking about. Here, the 8th and 9th place teams, as we can see, are separated by a single point. So even a 2-1 win for either of these teams will give one more point to... that will give Brickhouse even number of points to Enemy on Scren, but they will have won the head-to-head, and that tiebreaker is the one that is most important, the first one that is considered. So everything to play for in tonight's match between these two teams, everything to win or lose. And a little bit of background on these two teams. Enemy on Scren are kind of a reincarnation of Deathwing's Hookah Lounge, which was a team back in Season 9. Many of their players having been featured on that roster. And they are back and in full force this season as Enemy on Scren. Brickhouse, on the other hand, have participated for a few seasons and actually were promoted all the way from Division C last season. So a big jump for them. Looks like they've been finding their footing in this division pretty well. Let's take a look at our battlegrounds for this evening. We had Enemy on Scren winning the coin toss, and they opted for map pick, and the map bans for Enemy on Scren were Volskaya Foundry and Alterac Pass, with Brickhouse banning out Tomb of the Spider Queen and Towers of Doom. So we are headed to Infernal Shrines for this first map. I'll just let both of these teams know that we are ready out here, and feel free to sound off and chat. Let these teams know that you're supporting them. Everyone has a great time watching back VODs and seeing people root for each other, so it's one of the many great things about our NGS community. And it looks like we've just got one of the players going for a quick break, so we should be started relatively soon. We are in the last week of the regular season here for NGS. Many divisions are actually already getting into their playoff matches, with the first round of 8 being started. I believe Division A and some of our double round robin divisions are still playing a couple games this week. And that kind of accounts for the disparity in scheduling there. But it's exciting nonetheless to have this match, which with such heavy playoff standings implications still in play, I was really excited to get to pick it up. I'm also really excited to get a chance to cast both of these teams. I have yet to this season, and so it's always great to see how each set of NGS teams approach the meta and approach the maps and drafts. So I'm as excited as you all are to see how they get into it here on Infernal Shrines. The Steak cheering on Brickhouse. Good for them. A bit of an up and down season from them, but let's get into this first draft for Infernal Shrines. Once again, with enemy on Scren opting for map pick, that gives Brickhouse the first opportunity to act here in our draft for Game 1. Infernal Shrines always makes me think of heroes that are strong for the objective. Prime example of that, of course, being Hogger. I imagine that pick will be highly contested between these two teams. Of course, assuming that a player on both teams is comfortable on them. There are also other heroes like Johanna. There are your other rather strong AoE auto-attacking offlaners, such as Blaze, for example. Perhaps best in slot from the offlane. Not surprising to see Brickhouse take them away from consideration there. And another great part of this part of the season, there's that Hogger ban that we had discussed, is both teams have a plethora of scouting data available to them, and so we are likely to see more nuanced target bans as the draft gets a little bit further along, which is always fun and exciting. Second ban for Brickhouse. Another strong choice, of course, would be Johanna. We can see the Stukov ban. His area control with his Lurking Arm is an excellent tool for fighting on the Shrine. Not surprising to see him taken out there. From the tank slot, of course, we could see a Johanna ban here. We could see a Garrosh ban here. It's going to be the Junkrat, another strong hero for the Shrine, able to poke from safety and offers a lot of area control with his concussive mines and steel traps. So first pick is available to Brickhouse. There are still plenty of strong tanks and offlaners available. There's also the Brightwing, perhaps one of the best first pick support options in the current meta, offering the AoE cleanse, a global, a great deal of single target healing. Not surprising to see her snatched up in that first slot. Next two picks here from enemy on Scren. There's the Johanna pickup, followed by Ragnaros. Interesting. I'll be curious to see if this is an off-lane or core 4 Ragnaros. There are plenty of folks who like to play Ragnaros as kind of a poking mage style with the meatball build, W build. I don't actually know the real name of that ability. Last two picks before the mid-ban, it's going to be Li Ming and Sonya for Brickhouse. Excellent. Sonya, if not dealt with correctly, is an offlaner that can kind of live forever on the Shrine through her whirlwind talents, getting so much healing. Looks like we're going to have the Diablo ban, trying to narrow that tank pool a little bit further. Brickhouse, with a healer already locked in, have the opportunity to narrow that pool a little bit further. I'd be interested to see if we get a Lucio ban here. A strong hero, very good at on the map for disrupting rotations. It's going to be the gray main ban instead. Probably more of a target on some of the hero picks that enemy on Scren are comfortable with. Next two picks here, they're going to need a healer, some sort of range damage probably, perhaps another offlaner, perhaps a second range damage dealer, maybe even a Kerrigan. Alright, Kael'thas and Rhaegar. KT, great on the Shrine, as is Rhaegar. The wave clear that that orc brings is never unwanted in a draft. Cho and Gaul. There you go. Some spice here in Div A. Was not expecting that. Very exciting. This gives enemy on Scren one pick to kind of help deal with the two-headed monstrosity. Try and pick up some percent damage, perhaps. And it looks like it's going to be a main tank Cho as well. So I'll be interested to see how that plays out. And it is going to be the Tychus last pick. So let's take a look here at our teams as we get into the swap round and towards game one here. Johanna, Rag, Kael'thas, Rhaegar, Tychus into Cho, Gaul, Alarak, Li Ming. That's not Alarak. That's Sonya, excuse me. Interesting combo of heroes, to say the least. I'm going to be curious to see how the main tank Cho plays out here. If they're allowed to scale, this could be a really strong composition on the side of Brickhouse. So I'm excited to see how it all shakes out, as I hope you all are as well. So without any further ado, let's get into game one here on Infernal Shrines and introduce our teams. Here on the left, we've got enemy on Scren, Patches playing Kael'thas, Zeta Jesu on Ragnaros, Masterfish on Johanna, Big Wiz playing Tychus, and UMN Ablaze on Rhaegar. And to the right in red, we've got Brickhouse. It's going to be Tater on Gaul, Dizzy Wingman on Li Ming, Shyborg on Brightwing, Little Soul on Cho, and Ronin on Sonya. Checking in on our level 1 talents. And we've got our first pause of the game. Of course, we had a warning from the fine folks on Brickhouse that one of their players was having a great deal of difficulty with their connection. And it looks like it was a double DC, because it was the Cho'Gall player. Alright, looks like our teams are ready to get back into it, so we should get started again very soon. Alright, and here we go, back into the game. Checking in on our level 1 talents once again, we've got the Mana Addict from Kael'thas, looking to collect globes. Johanna, also looking to stack globes with her Laws of Hope level 1. No stacking talents on the side of Brickhouse. And we'll see, it looks like both teams able to get their first globe. A little bit of an earlier clear on the first wave for enemy on Scren. Cho and Gaul opting to get down to the bot lane as quickly as possible. Shyborg getting to sidestep. Oh, Patches able to catch them with the gravity lapse there. And Masterfish, oh man, this we might be in for a longer evening of disconnects than we might hope for. Which is a bit of a shame. We will continue analyzing these drafts here. The Tychus damage with the Kael'thas stun is going to apply a fair amount of pressure to Cho'Gall's HP pool here in the beginning. Of course, that will only ramp up once they've got Blessed Shield, assuming that that is the pickup for... and it looks like our teams are going to be remaking because of these disconnect issues that they've been having. Fair enough. So in that case, let's hop back over to take a look at our map picks. Take a look at those battleground choices. Braxis and Dragonshire are both still available, which is pretty exciting. Let me just let the teams know that I'll be ready. And let them know that we're already out here. Okay, so Braxis and Dragonshire are both still available. I'll be interested to see if either team is prone to these maps that feature a little more off-lane dueling. Braxis, not a map that we see picked a whole heck of a lot in NGS across all divisions, but it gives, which means that it gives teams that are comfortable on the map a leg up when it is still in the rotation. Great. Great, letting them know what needs doing for restarting this game. All right, they are getting back into the draft. Oren asking about the map bans lasting across all 3 games. They do last across all 3 games. So we will never see Towers of Doom, Tomb of the Spider Queen, Volskaya, or Alterac in this series. Still plenty of other maps to go to. It is only a best of 3 series, so we will not run out, thankfully. Another map notable for its absence in my mind is Sky Temple, from the bans at least, is Sky Temple. It's another one that many teams in NGS do not care for because of the non-interactive nature of the objective. You know, if you are able to secure an early structure lead on the battleground, then you can kind of avoid the enemy team as much as possible. And our teams are just now speeding through the draft, so we should be back into the battleground very shortly here. So yeah, a lot of unfamiliar battlegrounds still available for both of our teams to choose from. Garden of Terror, of course, sticking out in my mind as another map where lots of teams don't like it, and so if you do like it, it is a big boon to be able to go somewhere you're comfortable. And thanks again to everyone for tuning in once again. It's great to have you all here for this last match of the regular season for Division A. I assume they alternate banning those maps. Is the first team to pick the Game 1 map the first to ban? Yes, all of that is correct, Oren. So you do a coin flip at the beginning of before the series starts, and whoever wins the coin flip opts for either picking the first battleground that you go to or picking the first hero that is selected in that draft. And taking a look once again at our drafts as we load back in to Infernal Shrines for Game 1. We've got the percent damage from enemy on Scren, the giant health bar of Cho'Gall on the side of the Brickhouse. We'll have to see how it all shakes out. And let's get into it. Game number 1. And introduce our teams. Here on the left, in blue, we've got enemy on Scren, Patches on Kael Thas, UMN Ablaze on Rhaegar, Zeta Jesu on Ragnaros, Masterfish on Johanna, and Big Wiz on Tychus. And to the right in red, we've got Brickhouse, Ronin on Sonya, Tater on Gaul, Little Soul on Cho, Dizzy Wingman playing Li Ming, and Shyborg on Brightwing. And once again, our level 1 talents, as they were before, the Mana Addict and Laws of Hope choices for enemy on Scren, trying to stack globes, with Brickhouse opting for Taskmaster on Gaul, giving a lot more cooldown reduction on the shove. And Cho has opted for Calloused Hide, amping up the healing received. That's going to have a lot of synergy with the phase shift from Shyborg. Pretty even first clear, but Cho'Gall taking a lot of punishment now. Enemy on Scren doing a great job to intercept that rotation. And back to mid we go. Up in the top lane, we've got Zeta Jesu and Ronin duking it out. But a quick and early advantage to enemy on Scren with their faster wave clear on these rotations. They're going to get onto their Khazra camp ahead of Brickhouse, who respond in kind. Of course, their faster rotation is going to give enemy on Scren the opportunity to get down onto this neutral Khazra camp. And it seems like Brickhouse, even if they know it, aren't worried about contesting, understanding that their comp is one that needs to scale. Checking in on top lane, we've got Cho'Gall going in on Ragnaros here. Zeta Jesu going to take a lot of damage from the two-headed ogre, and will need to heart out. So a creative rotation, not your standard fare for Infernal Shrines. Exciting to see these teams not only drafting creatively, but rotating creatively as well. And we've got the core 3 of Brickhouse working on the bottom lane, Cho'Gall in top on their own. Of course, Master Flash does not offer much CC. Ronin sidesteps the gravity lapse, is going to make it out with sub 100 HP. Very well played by the Sonya to get that sidestep. If that stun had connected, it would have spelled doom for the Barbarian. Of course, 2-on-1, Cho'Gall is getting a lot of push done here in the top lane. We'll see if enemy on Scren choose to rotate to dissuade that push. Looks like they are instead focused on getting out that Shaman camp, giving Cho'Gall a lot of space to keep pushing. UNM Ablaze trying to stack up some of their W talents there. Little Tater feeling the impact of Tychus's minigun, opting for the stacking talent at level 4. They're going to be able to ramp up that minigun duration a great deal. And it looks like Brickhouse are going to skip this first objective, understanding that they are still rather weak, giving Little Soul and Tater a lot of room to keep pushing in top lane with the Cho'Gall. We'll see if enemy on Scren choose to respond. And here in mid lane, we've got Dizzy Wingman just here for the experience, playing it safe. And it looks like it is a pretty quick grab on this first objective for enemy on Scren. But in top, Cho'Gall and this camp are pushing a great deal. able to get more than half of the fort already. Ragnaros committing the Molten Core there to try and slow down the push. Checking in on our level 7 talents. We've got Ronin taking so much damage here, gets the phase shift. We saw less healing there thanks to Johanna's level 7, the Sins exposed. The anti-heal applied once again, a jump now onto Shyborg, and here comes Cho'Gall. It is a 5-hero commitment on the side of Brickhouse to try and defend this first objective. Of course, the Frozen Punisher doing a lot of siege damage thanks to their ability to disable structures. So, not surprising to see the whole fort fall there. Little Soul and Tater starting up their Shaman camp and warding for themselves with the Eye of Grog? Zog? No idea. Gall's Vision Ward. And, of course, checking back in on top fort, Little Soul and Tater were able to get a lot done there, and Zeta Jesu does not have Molten Core to slow them down this time round. We are likely to see that fort go down. So both teams trading 1 for 1 on the forts, but with a 5-hero commitment to mid, enemy on Scren are getting a lot of push here, taking down that full fort wall. A huge boon for the next objective, which is spawning in mid. It means that Brickhouse are going to be unsafe if they want to jump the Punisher and bait it towards them. Large wave here in bot to organize a lot of damage going on to Little Tater there, receiving both the phase shift and tapping well. Heroic talents just around the corner for enemy on Scren. Brickhouse lagging just a little bit behind there. And there we have heroics. It's going to be Phoenix, Ancestral Healing, Lava Wave, Blessed Shield, and Commandeer Odin. Ronin now the target of the 5-hero rotation, but they're able to sniff it out and get out just in time. Heroics on both sides. For Cho, we've got the Hammer of Cho, or Hammer of Twilight, rather. Gall has opted for Shadow Volley. Shadow Bolt Volley, thank you. Sonya going for Wrath of the Berserker, and Wave of Force for Li Ming. And Emerald Wind for the Brightwing. Not the most common selection. Enemy on Scren continued their push here in top lane. Hatches committing the Shyborg using the Emerald Wind. I wonder if that was a misclick there. Committing the Phoenix to the push in top lane. Not a big cooldown to lose. They are likely to have it again for this objective. Announced now in mid. And it looks like we've got a invade here onto the right side Shaman camp. Tater and Little Soul collapsing here. It is 4v5 though. Shadow Bolt Volley will fend off enemy on Scren and give Brickhouse the opportunity to capture that objective. And that slightly delayed rotation will give enemy on Scren the advantage in starting up this next objective. 10 skeletal defenders already in their hands. Dead even on experience here. We'll see how our teams get going. It looks like Brickhouse are having trouble finding their way onto the objective. Big Wiz the target here. Ancestral Healing does land. Dizzy Wingman falling low. Shyborg gets the Emerald Wind to push the rest of enemy on Scren away. But with Commandeer Odin popped, that is likely to be the second objective going over to enemy on Scren. Well played from them. And still a little bit of juice left in the Odin gas tank, so they might get a little bit of siege value. Looks like it's not going to connect with the fort in time. Little Tater taking a lot of stun damage. Here comes the phase shift. It isn't going to be in time, though. Double kill, first blood going over to enemy on Scren. Really well played by the blue team there, recognizing that the advantage that they had built for themselves in mid lane taking out that mid-fort wall meant that they could get really aggressive off of that Punisher jump. Really love to see that heads-up play from our NGS squads. Looks like they are more interested in continuing their push onto top lane here. Level 13s on both sides. We've got Pyromaniac from Kael'thas, giving him cooldown reduction when the Living Bomb damage over time ticks. It is a full E-build for Ragnaros, so level 13 unlocks the Tempered by Flame, offering a shield. We've also got Holy Fervor from Johanna, and Neosteel Coating for Big Wiz on the Tychus. Absolutely massive spell shield. And we've got a collapse now onto this bot camp. There goes the Blessed Shield onto Sonya. She's able to spin away. Shyborg pops the Emerald Wind once again. Cho'Gall shove out. They're able to make it without too much hassle. But enemy on Scren are able to secure that Mercenary invade. Checking in on the experience of these two teams, a full level lead for enemy on Scren. We've got that thanks to both a increased Mercenary camp experience level and higher minion XP. And of course, their double kill onto the Cho'Gall bought them a lot of hero XP as well, which means they are just about to hit their level 16 talent tier. We'll see what they opt to do with this power spike. Brickhouse doing well to play it safe, soaking the experience where they can as safely as possible. But enemy on Scren in bot lane are looking to get aggressive towards this bottom keep wall, perhaps. I guess not. Instead, sharking around the mid-wave, trying to catch a member of Brickhouse out of position. Dizzy Wingman, understanding that, is going to Hearth, avoiding any of the onslaught from enemy on Scren. Of course, this will give enemy on Scren the opportunity to potentially siege up on top fort if they choose to. Looks like they are instead going to fall back, grab their Shaman camp, and start pushing with that once it is online. An excellent timed camp for them as well. It will push during this objective phase, which is going to put Brickhouse in a bit of a quandary as to where they need to be on the map. Of course, the periodic catapult pressure in top lane very well could help them here. Enemy on Scren, recognizing that Brickhouse weren't available to contest the invade, secure another Cosver camp for mid lane. So there's a lot of homework on the map for Brickhouse to do, but they have achieved their level 16 talents. It's a big power spike for Gall with the Leaden Orb, able to stun all of enemy on Scren with that AoE W available to them. Already a 25 skeletal lead for enemy on Scren. It's going to be tough for Brickhouse to make up the difference. 35 now. Lots of damage onto Zeta Jesu, but the Ancestral Time is in... Ancestral Healing is in time. Zeta Jesu still taking so much damage from Dizzy Wingman on the flank. That's a kill onto Ragnaros. That's another one onto Kael'thas. UNM Blaze looking for the retreat, able to get it. Ronin's probably going to go down to the Tychus. Lots of back and forth damage here. 39, and that will secure the objective, but 3 hero kills on the side of Brickhouse means it will be a relatively easy cleanup of this Arcane Punisher for them. Of course, in top lane, the camp of enemy on Scren got through the red team camp and took out that top fort, so no outer structures available for Brickhouse anymore. But a lot of comeback experience in their pockets now, thanks to those hero kills. We can see their 3 kills netting them 4,000 experience to the 2,500 of enemy on Scren's 3 hero kills. Of course, there is still a full level lead for the blue team, thanks once again to the minion and mercenary experience differentials. They will achieve their storm talents ahead of the red team. it is likely that Brickhouse will achieve the next talent tier before the next objective. And as a Cho'Gall comp, that's really what Brickhouse are looking to do. They want to scale as quickly as they can to the end game. Cho'Gall, a absolute late game menace. And with both teams at the same talent tier and pre-storm talents, I would love to see Brickhouse try and get aggressive here. Perhaps threaten pushing up onto mid-fort wall. Try and force a fight from enemy on Scren where they won't necessarily want to take one. We've got Ronin soaking on their mount as safely as possible, trying to collect XP wherever it can be achieved, but still a level away from their storm talents. Enemy on Scren, on the other hand, have just picked theirs up. They've got Big Red Button, Blinded by the Light, Submerge, Farseer's Blessing, and Master of Flames for Kael'thas. Living Bomb spread can cause additional Living Bomb spread rather than the more typical Flamethrower at level 20. Not surprising to see that pickup. The Sonya Cho'Gall does a fair bit of tight grouping, and so they're likely to get a lot of value out of the continued spread of the Living Bomb. Enemy on Scren want to get as much of this mid keep down as they can before the next objective spawns here in mid. They've still got their storm talents in their hands, and Blessed Shield is available, but it looks like they think better of it, opting instead to take away this Shaman camp, applying additional pressure to the top lane keep, and perhaps more importantly, removing the option for Brickhouse to secure it for themselves. Storm talents on both sides now. We've got Twilight Frenzy from Gall. Here comes the engagement by Little Soul and Tater. Blessed Shield out onto Cho'Gall there, looking to shove out. Ronin spinning on 4 here. Little Tater able to get back in. There's the AoE Ancestral onto Zeta Jesu, but they're falling low. Dizzy Wingman raining in a lot of damage from the Li Ming here, but it looks like the Big Red Button is going to push off the rest of Brickhouse. Shyborg falling exceptionally low here. Are they going to make it out alive? They do. The Brightwing survives. All 5 heroes on both sides make it out alive. And that, once again, gives enemy on Scren the opportunity to get onto this objective ahead of Brickhouse. Brickhouse, slightly shorter cooldowns on their Storm talents and heroics, so they very well could get another contest here onto the objective. Little Tater able to get in here, apply a bunch of damage. There comes the phase shift. Joe popping the Unstoppable. Big Wiz is the target here. Lots of lead and orb value here in the middle. There's the first kill onto Tychus. Zeta Jesu looking for damage onto Ronin here. Little Tater falling exceptionally low. We've already seen the phase shift from Shyborg. They don't have another one, and they are falling low here on the bottom side of the fight. Ronin looking for more spinning, getting onto 3 more people, 25 to 20 for the objective channel. A Q in from Little Soul and Tater, doing a lot of damage thanks to the Power Surge and Uppercut, granting percent damage on that Surging Fist. 36 to 28 here. Can they get the kill here onto Shyborg? The Brightwing will fall. They are able to secure the objective, and the kill onto the Kael'thas. Another Ancestral Healing comes out onto Zeta Jesu. They're able to land both. The Punisher jump comes in. I'd love to see Brickhouse try and interrupt that Molten Core, but they don't quite secure it. Dizzy Wingman is the target now. They are absolutely able to get popped very quickly thanks to that level 13 Glass Cannon selection. And bottom keep has gone down. There are catapults on the core of Brickhouse. Looks like we've got people thinking about harking back to take care of it, opting instead to work on this middle Khazra camp. A lot of damage going on to this mid keep as well. So Brickhouse are turning around here in these late game team fights. They're able to secure that objective, the first of the game for them, but it is going to be a long haul back into this game for Brickhouse. They have a challenging road ahead of them with catapult pressure heavily against them in bottom lane, as well as a weakened top keep. The Storm talent from Cho, Cthulhu's Gift, really amps up the threat that Cho is able to apply to enemy on Scren. The ranged slowing auto attacks paired with the auto attack speed increase from the level 16 Frenzied Fists is a really big power spike for Cho. Looks like we've got a 5-hero collapse here from Brickhouse onto enemy on Scren. They're looking for UNM Ablaze. Looks like they're able to get out. They do still have the Ancestral. Little Tater taking so much damage. Phase shift interrupted there. No big heal available for Cho'Gall. There it is. Submerge popped by the Ragnaros. They're going to heal up there. Ronin goes down first. No resets available for Dizzy Wingman. Shyborg likely to fall next. UNM Ablaze is the target. Has already used Ancestral. There goes Li Ming. Another kill for enemy on Scren. There goes the Rhaegar, but Little Soul and Tater might be able to clean this up. Big Wiz down below 100. Oh, so much damage going onto Cho'Gall. It's a 5-hero wipe for enemy on Scren. They are going to be able to push through the bot lane here onto the core, finish up this game 1. A decisive victory despite a very tricky draft. Of course, they'll need to be a little careful here. They do not have a healer available to them, so Patches and Big Wiz, both very low, are going to have to be careful. Of course, it's not going to matter too much. They're on the core and tearing it apart. That is going to secure game 1 for enemy on Scren. GG and well played to the home team. An exciting game 1 for this last game of the regular season. Cho'Gall would never have expected to see that pickup. And Little Soul and Tater looked pretty strong on the duo, but in the end, the Tychus last pick doing so much to chew through the HP pool of the giant stat stick that is Cho'Gall. Speaking of stats, let's take a look at our post-game stats. We had Kael'thas Patches coming in at top hero damage for enemy on Scren, with Gall for Brickhouse, played by Tater, doing the same. And of course, another big factor for enemy on Scren was keeping ahead of the Cho'Gall comp in experience. Ragnaros, Zeta Jesu able to put a lot of pressure in that department thanks to their level 10 Lava Wave. So a spicy game 1. We have a Orb build Li Ming, we have a Cho'Gall, but in the end it is the home team, enemy on Scren, who are able to take it in the first map. Very well played from our two teams. Axon asking if Scren has clinched a playoff spot. As I understand it, they have not clinched a playoff spot if Brickhouse are able to win the next 2 maps. If they win games 2 and 3, Brickhouse and enemy on Scren will be tied with 15 points, and Brickhouse will have won their head-to-head, which is the first tiebreaker metric. And so Brickhouse would overcome enemy on Scren for the 8th position and the last playoff spot, is my understanding. I, of course, could have the tiebreakers incorrect there. So you very well may be right about who is destined for the playoffs or not. And it looks like we are almost ready for another game. And we are going to Cursed Hollow as picked by Brickhouse. Excellent. And that last fight was hectic to say the least. The Cho'Gall able to get all of those Q resets thanks to their level 4 and level 7 Q talents. It is kind of surprising. I wouldn't have been shocked if they were able to wipe. I believe it is a 3-way tie with Gilly, and Gilly lost head-to-head to both of them. Gotcha. Okay. So, Brickhouse, Gilly Sharks at Bingo Night, and Enemy on Scren all vying for this final spot in the playoffs. Excellent call out there, Axon. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. So, the winner of this series, right now, we are on track for Enemy on Scren to clinch it. And also a playoff spot. But if Brickhouse turn it around and get the win here, I believe that puts them above Enemy on Scren, and so they will instead take that 8th place. And the final spot in the playoffs. For everyone who tuned in midway through Game 1, welcome and thank you for tuning in. It's great to have everyone here to cheer on our NGS teams. Let everyone know in chat who you're cheering for. I know personally I am cheering for a Game 3. I always love seeing more of our community get to play Heroes of the Storm. And so I'm hoping Brickhouse are able to give a strong showing here on their battleground choice. Cursed Hollow is not going to allow for them to draft as much the same compositionally. I don't think Cho'Gall is going to suit this battleground given how spread out it is. Having to commit 2 heroes to the same lane constantly makes it challenging. But let's see how our teams choose to draft here in this second game of our series. Getting into it here on Cursed Hollow. Enemy on Scren, the first to act this time round. We'll see if any of the picks from Brickhouse were deemed too well played last game. I wouldn't be surprised to see Enemy on Scren target the Brightwing for a ban. Shyborg played it pretty well, and also the global factor is rather valuable here on Cursed Hollow, able to get those scraps of XP where they can be found and then still make it to the team fight on time. And it looks like there is a global focus from Enemy on Scren, opting to ban the Dahaka. Brickhouse responding immediately with a Ragnaros ban. Not surprised to see it, frankly. Zeta Jesu was able to apply so much map pressure with Lava Wave, and that is only amplified on a map like Cursed Hollow. Next ban available for Enemy on Scren. They could continue the global focus and get rid of the Brightwing here or the Falstad, which would give them the opportunity to pick the other one away. Looks like Junkrat is going to still be their focus, banned away last game as well. And it looks like Brickhouse instead choose to take away the Brightwing. So Falstad still available if either team want to get that global edge. I'm not sure if either team really prioritizes the hero, but it is a great map. He offers boss control with Gust and a global presence as mentioned. Priority pick here from Enemy on Scren. Looks like it is going to be that Falstad. Excellent. I'll be interested to see how Brickhouse respond. They do have the opportunity to do a tech pick, such as a stage dive ETC, I believe that is the final global hero available. If you want to get deep into the woods, one could argue that Deathwing is kind of a global, but Deckard and Greymane are going to be the pickups for Brickhouse. So no cleanse on the healer for Brickhouse. I'm interested to see if enemy on Scren are going to try and capitalize on that with an additional CC comp. Picking the Johanna once again. They performed very well with it last game. Not surprised to see him picked up there. Also a very strong hero generally in the meta. Looks like it's going to be Orphea in place of the Kael'thas, so not as much of a focus on the crowd control, which is totally reasonable. No healer available for enemy on Scren, and so I imagine Brickhouse will narrow that pool a little bit further with this ban. Perhaps a Rhaegar ban here, and it's going to be an Anduin ban instead. Anduin, an excellent cleanse support. Leap of Faith, perhaps one of the strongest cleanses in the game with its repositioning component as well. Neither of the front line are available for Brickhouse just yet, so I expect that we will see a ban on it from enemy on Scren in this rotation. Abathur instead. Alright. One of the other kind of global heroes available. Of course, with the wacky Cho'Gall pick that we saw out of Brickhouse, I wouldn't be terribly surprised if they have further spice in the form of a TLV, Diablo, and Deathwing. Both big, bad heroes, lots of HP, and they're pretty comfortable picking up those big health bars with all of the damage showing from enemy on Scren. Offlaner and healer still required to round out the blue team's composition. I imagine we see the Rhaegar pick again. Ablaze looked very comfortable on the hero. And instead, we've got a Leoric Lili. Lili offering blinds for the Greymane, and offering a lot of healing through her Jug of 1,000 Cups. Right now, Brickhouse are a little light on reliable interrupts for that heroic, so it could get a lot of value here. Final pick for Brickhouse, perhaps an offlaner, perhaps another range damage dealer. It's going to be the Thrall. Awesome. So let's take a look at these two drafts. Alrighty. The global presence is definitely in favor of enemy on Scren with the Falstad. Deathwing does have a little bit of a semi-global, but it really takes a lot of time for him to get into the air. He has to have waited a certain number of seconds before he can ascend, and then he has to spend a specific amount of time in the air before he can descend, whereas Falstad can just fly. Brickhouse also a little bit low in the ranged damage department. Orphea and Falstad are going to be able to poke them out pretty consistently, but the healing throughput of Lili is relatively low. So I'll be interested to see how these team fights shake out. Let's get into it for our second game, perhaps the last game of the season for Brickhouse. And introducing enemy on Scren here on the left in blue, we've got Patches playing Orphea, Ablaze on Leoric, Zeta Jesu on Lili, Masterfish on Johanna, and Big Wiz playing Falstad. And to the right, in red, we've got Brickhouse. Tater playing Greymane, Ronin on Thrall, Little Soul on Diablo, Shyborg playing Deckard, and Dizzy Wingman on Deathwing. Checking in on our level 1 talents, we've got the Q build from Falstad looking to stack up the Gathering Storm. It is going to be Echo of the Elements for Ronin on Thrall, trying to get that second charge of their Chain Lightning. And it is Scroll of Identify for Shyboard. Not the most common pick for Deckard at level 1. So another stacking talent there. Looks like we had the Fly committed by Big Wiz getting up to the top lane here, matched by Dizzy Wingman. And checking in on bot lane, Ronin is getting collapsed on here by Patches and Zeta Jesu. They do have the Wind Fury to sidestep, get out of the way, and heal back up. Checking in on mid lane, we've got a little bit of a tank pillow fight. A canonical tank pillow fight. A Crusader against the Lord of Terror. We've got both of our teams started up on mercenary camps, Brickhouse grabbing their siege camp first, with enemy on Scren working on their bruiser camp here in the mid lane. A slightly better timing on the mid camp for enemy on Scren, but with no one matching Ronin here in bot lane, Brickhouse might get a lot of push value out of these siege giants. Leoric does not have a lot of tools for cleaning up these giants quite yet. And it looks like in mid, a big wave and push with the bruiser camp, but no heroes to support it. Zeta Jesu is not going to get a lot of push done on their own. Checking back in on bot lane, Masterfish and Ablaze are able to dissuade Ronin from supporting those giants any further. They got about half a tower there. And Brickhouse responding with their bruiser camp in mid, time out the mercenary camp pretty much perfectly right in front of their mid-fort towers. An overpower shadow charge combo brings Masterfish into the tower aggro range. And there are those blinding winds from Zeta Jesu trying to shut down the damage out from Tater. We've got a W build from Diablo Souls to the Flame, as well as rubies picked up by Deckard Cain. And first objective here is going to be announced in the top lane, spawning up just now. We've got Little Soul not checking that rotation, walks into 4 of enemy on Scren. They are going to make it out alive. And buy room for Dizzy Wingman to potentially cap that first objective. They aren't going to secure it. They do have a lot of stall potential, but they commit the W. Wow. Still get the stall with the Molten Flame there. So level 7 is just a hair closer for Brickhouse. Looks like that's thanks to a little bit more minion experience. But of course, we do have a quicker rotation from Leoric. Thrall is still showing in bot lane there. Level 7's online for our red team. That unlocks the Eternal Flames talent for Little Soul, able to get more of those flame stomps out and get more of those souls stacked up with their level 4. Lots of damage going onto Diablo here. It is a 5-hero commitment, and Ronin on the flank lands the root. There's a overpower onto Big Wiz, who is able to get out with the cleanse from Zeta Jesu. The Let's Go talent from Lili, perhaps one of the best cleanses in the game at only 40 seconds. A great rotation in from the Thrall player. Very well played. Checking in on mid lane, Ablaze able to land the Drain Hope onto Tater. They are not terribly concerned with the damage that Greymane is putting out with that healing rolling. Still a little bit of an experience lead for Brickhouse there, thanks to that hero kill. And a slight lead on minion experience. We've got Ronin coming down to the bot lane to match Big Wiz. And it looks like they have completed their level 1, so they do have a little more poke, but they don't have the Wind Fury to escape Patches. A great kill for enemy on Scren right before the objective spawns here in the top lane. Big Wiz is going to be able to respond to this mercenary camp capture and still fly up to the objective if necessary, but it seems as though Brickhouse are not interested in contesting it. Can't say I'm surprised. We do have the Skyfall stalls from Deathwing here, but enemy on Scren doing a great job to space as far apart as possible. I don't think Skyfall has any more charges, and that is going to be it. Heroics now online for Brickhouse. We've got Go for the Throat from Greymane, Bellowing Roar from Deathwing, Lightning Breath from Diablo, Stay a While and Listen, and Thrall is heavily considering. And on the other side, Heroics, we've got Hinterland's Blast from Big Wiz, okay. Jug of 1,000 Cups, Blessed Shield, Entomb, and the Orphea player is holding their choice. We're past the 5-minute mark, so bosses are available on the map. Looks like we have a Sundering from Thrall at level 10. Excellent. And Orphea has opted for Eternal Feast. Curses are at 1 and 1 for both Enemy on Scren and Brickhouse. A favorable spawn here in bot lane for the red team. We'll see how Enemy on Scren choose to play it. In top lane, they have picked up that mercenary camp and are still rotating down. They're going to be a little late on this rotation, and Dizzy Wingman took a lot of punishment there from the Leoric Drain Hope damage. So it will be a while until Deathwing can rejoin this fight. Masterfish rips and the Entomb as well. What a flank from Ablaze. That's the first kill on a Deckard Cain. Big Wiz taking a lot of damage with patches. They're rooted in place. Little Soul taking so much damage here. And Big Wiz secures a kill on the bot side. That's 2 down for Brickhouse. They are in full retreat. Let's see if they're able to make it out alive. Ablaze connected with the Drain Hope onto Little Soul, but they make it out. 2 kills to 0 in that engagement. Decisively won by Enemy on Scren. Masterfish and Ablaze lining up their heroics perfectly. And Big Wiz following up with the massive Hinterland's Blast. Deckard Cain stood no chance, unable to use their Stay a While and Listen. And with that, Enemy on Scren secure the second tribute and get onto their boss. This, of course, is going to put them ahead in rotations if they want to look at invading on the top side. Brickhouse has already taken a fair bit of damage on this top fort wall, thanks to that siege camp that was rolling all the while during that objective phase. Ablaze checking the camp. They aren't finding any of Brickhouse just yet, which means the rest of Enemy on Scren are getting on to this fort as quickly as possible. No damage dealers available to support the damage. We'll see if Masterfish rips the Blessed Shield. They opt not to. Ronin coming in from the far side of the blank. Ooh, yeah, that's the first fort to go down. Zeta Jesu caught on a weird side. Great Stay a While. Catches 2. And the interrupt onto the Jugs, but they've bought enough space for Ablaze to secure the curse. Dizzy Wingman gets the fear, but there's the cleanse. Full retreat once again for Brickhouse. Ronin left in the back there. That's another kill onto the War Chief. Thrall going down. And a curse in the hands of Enemy on Scren with their boss still a little bit below 50% HP. This is a big push for the home team. Level 13's just around the corner for Brickhouse. We'll see if that is the difference maker. Big Wiz getting another huge Hinterland's Blast. The cooldown reduction intrinsic to the talent, giving him another reset. That's going to be a kill onto Deathwing and onto the Greymane. Ooh, this is a dominant showing from Enemy on Scren. This push is absolutely massive. UNM Ablaze keeping all of Brickhouse away from that boss, and they're able to lock in the first keep. Big Wiz committing the fly to mid lane to help clean up that Bruiser camp. So first keep of the game before the 10-minute mark, and a 2-level lead for Enemy on Scren. They are having a convincing showing as to why they deserve to be in the playoffs here, leaving everything out on the battleground. Very well played from our blue team. And kind of importantly, top boss is still contestable. Level 16s are very close at hand for Enemy on Scren. Brickhouse are not going to be able to match that talent tier anytime soon. So I'll be interested to see if enemy on Scren look to invade, put additional pressure onto the map for Brickhouse to deal with. Level 16s in their hands. Enemy on Scren have opted for the Holy Renewal for Johanna, able to get a lot of healing with all of her blinds. A full E-build with Royal Focus from Leoric, able to reduce damage of all of Brickhouse. Lily's talents, pick me up. Okay, I'm learning about Lily talents. Great. Bonds of Anguish, offering percent damage to Orphea. Patches is going to take big chunks out of Deathwing now, in addition to the percent damage from Ablaze. And as predicted, we've got enemy on Scren ripping through this top boss. They're also going to have the Siege Giants pushing in this top lane. Brickhouse have a lot of pressure against them, a lot to answer in that top lane. I would love to see enemy on Scren push with that double mercenary camp. I think they could probably secure the top keep, opting instead to get busy on this mid fort. Next tribute has been announced. It is a favorable tribute spawn for enemy on Scren. It'll be their first of 3 tributes, so nothing serious as far as threat level for Brickhouse to deal with, but they have a lot to deal with in top, as mentioned. Tater, Little Soul, and Ronin doing as much as they can to rip through this boss after it takes out the top keep wall. In mid, enemy on Scren with their vanilla push able to secure another keep wall. And that is the objective available. The fly committed from Big Wiz there. They will not have their global available, which is an interesting choice. And even talent tiers, here comes the invade. Lots of damage onto Little Soul, but he is able to get the... oh my god, so many Hinterlands resets! Oh, Big Wiz destroys everybody. 2 kills and a steal on the objective. Dizzy Wingman under threat here, taking so much damage from Leoric. That's another kill. 3 for nothing. Little Soul has respawned thanks to the trait. Shyborg gets the stay a while and listen onto 4, but it's just slowing down the inevitable. A lot of push pressure here in mid lane. Little Soul trying to get as many souls as possible here, but I think enemy on Scren are going to take down this second keep. There goes Lily, however, so that is a big detriment to their push capabilities. Patch is falling low. They're going to fall here. Shyborg gets the bonk onto Big Wiz. And there's the Dark Flight in from Tater. 2 kills here. Iron Screen is still available for the Johanna. Masterfish able to get away with a tricky pathing route. Ablaze able to land, and Johanna escapes as well. So a little bit of Diablo hero privilege there. And that gives Brickhouse a bunch of comeback XP, still trailing by about a level towards their Storm talents, but a much needed infusion of experience for them. And it also is going to give them the opportunity to contest this bottom boss if they so choose, which is a big boon for them. If they're able to get Dizzy Wingman on Deathwing onto the point of this boss, they will have Bellowing Roar available to contest the boss. We haven't seen Brickhouse scouted out, though, and enemy on Scren are ripping through this boss. They are late to the rotate here, so Brickhouse aren't going to be able to stop this boss from going in. And Entomb goes out onto Little Soul. There are a bunch of ultimates able to shadow charge their way out. Masterfish the target now, taking so much damage. Misses with the Blessed Shield. Shyborg falling low on the bottom side of the fight. That's a huge amount of damage onto the Deckard Cain. They go down. Big Wiz still looking for an angle here to escape. Patch is falling low here. Eats the Flame Breath. Tater taking out the Orphea. This is going to give the opportunity for Brickhouse to secure a curse of their own, but they're going to have to send at least 1 hero back to deal with this bottom boss. Looks like they're going to have Tater doing just that. And it looks like it is a full retreat from Brickhouse. Able to secure the objective, but not able to get anything out of the objective. Ronin now dueling it out with Ablaze. They have opted for follow-through at level 7, and so Ablaze is able to trade pretty favorably with them. Missing the Drain Hope, however, will slow down that Leoric push. Top fort going down to Dizzy Wingman and the minion wave. We'll see how much more Brickhouse are able to accomplish here with 25 seconds left in their curse. Storm Talents on both sides. We've got Monster Within. Eternal Feast granting Chaos. Not one I am used to seeing from Orphea. And of course, perhaps the bigger power spike for the team is going to be the Buried Alive from Leoric, being able to silence anyone caught in their entomb. On the other side for Brickhouse, we've got Hunter's Blunderbuss. Is the purple one? Yes. The Wind Blink, what's that called? Wind Rush for Thrall. Hellgate from Diablo. Respect the Elderly for Deckard Cain. And Stood in the Fire for Deathwing. Here's the collapse. 5 heroes from enemy on Scren. Ablaze able to get a big entomb here if they land it. Ronin caught on the backside of this fight. They're having trouble here. They blink out, and Little Soul blinks in. Here comes the Stay a While. That's silencing onto a lot of targets. Tater gets the kill with the Go for the Throat. They have a reset available, but Dizzy Wingman's taking so much damage, and Zeta Jesu's getting a lot of healing out from the Cup of 1,000, Jug of 1,000 Cups, 10,000 Cups. Oh my gosh, Tater's falling so low. Patch is able to chase in, unable to land that auto attack thanks to the stealth from the level 4 of the Greymane. Thrall able to finish their level 16 quest, but only drawing the rest of enemy on Scren away from Deckard and Greymane. They're doing what they can to stall here. I don't know if it's how much of a benefit it is to them. Little Soul, Tater, and Shyborg opting to continue the fight here. Tater falls very low. Patch is able to keep raining damage in. Master Fish takes out Greymane on the top side. Little Soul getting resets on their W, but that's going to be a full death timer for the Diablo. Chasing onto Dizzy Wingman here. We've got 2 heroes left alive for the side of Brickhouse. It would be a heroic effort from Deathwing and Deckard Cain to preserve this game. There is a decent amount of siege damage available to enemy on Scren. Stood in the Fire, getting some value from Dizzy Wingman, but they are going to fall here. A Fear lands onto the Lili, but the core is falling. A great Entomb catches Deckard Cain, and that is going to be all she wrote for Game 2. Another win for our blue team. GG and well played. A domination going over to the home team and securing their spot in the playoffs. Very well played from enemy on Scren. They did a fantastic job lining up their heroics there, getting so much value out of the Entomb and the Eternal Feast, and surprisingly, the Hinterlands Blast. Not one I was expecting to see, but always a fun one nonetheless. Checking in on our post-game stats, we can take a look here. Let me just try and reach out to our winning team. All right, checking in on those stats once again, we've got Orphea top of the lobby for damage, 80,000 hero damage, able to secure a lot of great Eternal Feasts, casting them on Little Soul while they were using the Lightning Breath and Rooted, getting many resets on that talent. And checking in on those talents once more, we've got a full Flame Stomp build from Diablo, a full Fire Breath build from Dizzy Wingman. And as I called out in the game, Monster Within granting chaos for Eternal Feast. Orphea's basic abilities also recharge 150% faster. Interesting, interesting. Very cool. So we'll see if we get an interview from our winning team here. And in the meantime, we can take a look at our post-game, post-series scorecard, and it is the home team, Enemy on Scren, taking it in a decisive 2-0. Very well played from the home team. An exciting series nonetheless. Awesome to see teams getting creative with their interpretations of the meta. The Cho'Gall pick from game 1, not one that I was expecting to see. Perhaps I should have done a little bit of scouting. It might be a Brickhouse special, for all I know. And as mentioned at the start of the broadcast, this does lock Enemy on Scren in for the playoffs. They have clinched their spot in this win and you're in winner takes all match. Very exciting to see it happen. It looks like we aren't hearing back from the winning team, so I'm going to assume that they don't want to do the interview, which is totally fine, well within their rights. Since they seem to be MIA, I just want to give a few shout-outs. First and foremost, to all of you for tuning in. These games are a bunch of fun to cast, but always more fun to cast with an audience. I'm sure both of our teams were happy to have you guys tune in and cheer them on as well, so thank you to everyone here. I also want to give a shout out to all of the programmers and artists who have provided assets for the stream. Oh, and it does look like we are going to get a interview here, so let me just hop over to that slide and we can chat with our winning team here. Hello, hello, how are you?
I'm good.
Congratulations.
A bit of an interesting series.
I'll say, it absolutely was. I was taken aback by the Cho'Gall pick. Definitely wasn't expecting it. Is that something that the scouting that you guys did kind of clued you into, or was that a surprise for you as well?
All of you two has assumed that we did any scouting.
Fair enough, fair enough.
The reality is that, like, 15 minutes before the series started, I got a DM from our captain saying that he couldn't make it and to gather whatever players were around. So that's
gotcha.
the level we were operating on.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. Exciting nonetheless. You guys, of course, did have that last pick available to you and responded with the Tychus. Is that one of those comfort picks for your hero pool? Is that something that you guys just felt was demanded by the Cho'Gall pick as a response?
Tychus is just kind of good. And we did feel like we needed something to at least threaten the Cho'Gall's health bar with a little bit. Because we didn't really have anything great. And yeah, the Cho'Gall really could have worked very well if it hadn't been for the fact that they were down a level because of Lava Wave the entire game.
Lava Wave did a whole lot to keep you guys ahead in that game. When you blind picked the Ragnaros, you couldn't have possibly known how much value Lava Wave was going to get. It was huge. Really awesome to see how that all went down for you. And of course, the team fights were really decisively in your favor in game 1 until the later half with that Cho'Gall scaling.
Cho'Gall starts becoming a problem.
Exactly. But you guys got so far ahead in the early game that it was too large a hole for Brickhouse to claw their way out of, though they did a heroic effort. They almost made it. And then, of course...
it was interesting.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Their last team fight attempt, it was a good idea. It almost worked. And if we hadn't been a level up for that fight, I don't think we win it. Because there were several people that were low enough that I think at even levels they just die.
Yeah, the stat
and it
advantage.
Been like a 5 for 3 or 5 for 4 maybe. And then we don't end, and then we have to win another objective, so...
Yeah, it was absolutely hectic. For Game 2, Brickhouse opted to take you guys to Cursed Hollow, a very different map pace-wise from Infernal Shrines. I really liked to see the focus on the globals from you guys in that draft phase. The Deathwing pick, is that something that you guys consider a global? I know that some teams don't think of that hero as particularly global thanks to the long delay.
He's global enough on a map that's as big as Cursed Hollow to do what like you can stay in Soak bot lane and then get to the top objective, you know, eventually. And way faster than you would by just running up, so...
Absolutely.
On Cursed Hollow, he's good enough.
Fair
He's not
enough.
my favorite global, but...
No, mine either. But of course, that kind of, you know, the draft considerations aside, I need to praise you guys really, for the tight synchronization of your heroics. That first team fight with heroics online, both you and Ablaze getting onto Deckard Cain with the Blessed Shield and the Entomb, and both damage dealer heroics falling onto him. That Deckard Cain was dead before they could even blink. You guys... Would you credit your communication with that sort of tight synchronization? Is that something that you guys think is a strong suit of your team?
I mean, we've been playing various MOBAs together for a long time. We haven't played HOTS in a minute, but...
Yeah, I saw that
Blaze,
a bunch of you guys...
Wiz and I play League of Legends together all the time.
Great. Yeah, I saw that a bunch of you guys were on Deathwing's Hookah Lounge back in Season 9.
Yeah, I think I was a sub officially on that roster.
Okay, fair enough. But either way, there's a fair bit of history within the roster.
Yeah, no, we've been playing HOTS for a very long time.
That's
We've
awesome.
mostly stopped, but it's still fun to get back into one.
Great. Well, it's always great to have people come back to the game. We're happy to have you. How does it feel clinching your playoff spot?
Feels good. I was kind of a little nervous because of how scuffed the lead up of the series was. But you know, everything worked out well. Even the misclicked Falstad ult got insane value.
I was curious if that was a misclick or if that was on purpose.
It was a misclick, but I mean, was it really a misclick?
I don't know. How many resets did you guys get on that? Yeah, the fight over that bruiser camp. There were at least 3, if not 4, casts of Hinterland's Blast, really making that heroic look way better than I think it probably is. Awesome. So who does this put y'all up against? Looks like if my...
I don't know, is 2 seed decided?
Okay.
I haven't checked.
I know that Boogans Forever are currently in first position, but I believe they are also playing a match tonight. I don't know if Gen M, who are in second place, are going to be able to overtake them. But you guys have secured, with that domination, that brings you to 17 points. So you are now in 7th place ahead of Gilly Sharks. So you are either playing Boogans, Gen M, or 2+2.
Yeah. Assuming the site is accurate, 2+2 needs to dominate to take second, I think.
Gotcha.
Because they have 1 less match played.
Okay,
so
great.
We'll see.
Yeah. And I know that you guys have had to do a couple forfeits earlier in this season. I'm not sure if you got to play any of those top 3 teams. Is there a team in particular that you guys are wary to face, looking forward to playing against?
I forget who's on which team, honestly.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Which one is... Oh, this is actually funny. 2+2 has a player on it, Tempest, who I played with a long time ago, so that would be kind of fun.
Oh, awesome. Just a little bit of a friendly rivalry. That's exciting.
Let's see. Oh yeah, and we know the captain for Gen M well also actually in the box.
Great. Well, then it's going to
I
be a
don't know,
family affair, no matter no matter how it shakes out. That's awesome.
Interesting.
Very cool.
Hopefully we can play spoiler for whoever we face.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you guys had a very strong showing in this series. I wouldn't be surprised to see you guys be a serious dark horse in this postseason. Before I let you go and celebrate with your team, any other shout-outs you want to give to the audience?
I mean, yeah, just shout out to everyone on Deathwing Super Lounge. We killed it tonight. Playoff bound, and let's see what we can make happen.
Very cool. Thank you so much. Take care, Masterfish.
Bye-bye.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary pals. That is your winner's interview. Enemy on Scren really looking forward to their playoff berth that they've secured here. And we'll have to follow along to see if they are able to make that dark horse run deep into the postseason for Division A. I was calling out all of the great folks whose work that I use on stream, the artists and programmers who provide software and art assets. This stream wouldn't look anywhere near as good without their contributions. So if you want to check out their work, there are links to all of their websites below. You can also stick around after I sign off to watch a credit roll featuring all of their contributions. Thanks again to everyone for tuning in. I've been The Sound, you've all been swell, and until next time, good luck, have fun, peace, and love.